Boom! Personal trainers, welcome to another episode of the Fitness Pro Mentor Show, and this is actually more of a masterclass and a quick update because I am really excited. First and foremost, if we haven't met, my name is Brandon. I am the founder of Fitness Pro Mentors in a gym in Newmarket called Strata Internal Performance, and my goal is to help trainers like you 2 to 3x their income so you can get 10 to 15K months consistently and then scale and grow your business to where you want it to be. At the end of the day, I wholeheartedly believe that brilliant trainers like you don't need to move their entire business online. You can have an incredible in-person practice, but it comes down to making sure that you have incredible systems in place to leverage and blow that up. And we have created something called the FIST formula, which is our step-by-step business plan to help that happen. Really quickly, if you are in a position where you've been frustrated and stuck with your business for a long time and you feel like that each thing you've tried just hasn't worked and you haven't put that big investment of time in to make that next step happen, you have to go through the season of business development, which is what our mentorship is all about. It's a one-on-one mentorship to help trainers like you have everything they need. And a ton of our process is based off of this FIST formula. Now, if you're watching this or you're listening to this, we have a video that's going to be accompanied to this in the private Facebook group, Fitness Pro Mentors. We'll probably put it on YouTube too. But honestly, also, if you're watching this, we will have this available as a podcast on Spotify. So that way, anyone who wants to listen to this that you think could benefit should check this out. But let's get into it. First and foremost, the FIST formula. So at the end of the day, every business has traditionally 3 steps. There's a way that people find you, which is kind of like the marketing advertising thing. There's a way that people are integrated into your world, which is typically a sales process. And then there's a retention strategy, because at the end of the day, if you can retain business for longer and have longer sales cycles, you don't need to get as many clients in your world. So this is where having a high quality retention is absolutely fantastic. And if you don't, we got to talk about that. But at the very beginning of this entire thing, what we want to do with our FIST formula is establish every single thing that you are doing and figuring out how much energy and effort you're putting into your business. So the FIST formula, FIST, find, integrate, stay, and train. Now, if we start at the very end, train, here's the deal. You are a personal trainer. You do need to learn science and anatomy and everything in between, which there's some incredible exercise programs out there that I've been lucky enough to be a part of, and I know you have checked out too. And if you're interested in learning more about that, please let me know. But you have to get results with people. You have to be able to provide an incredible product. If you don't have that product that you're able to share, there's going to be some challenges. So at the beginning, you got to make sure you've got your product dialed in. The training needs to be dialed in. Now, at the very beginning of this, what we are going to talk about is the finding strategies, because initially, this is what our marketing, lead generation, and advertising stuff is all about. In most cases, marketing and advertising is just sales on steroids. It really is. Sales is about identifying someone's pains and their needs and figuring out if your product is a good fit for them, and then figuring out if it makes sense to move forward, both from an expectation perspective and the results that you can provide. That's a whole other conversation. Today, when we're talking about marketing, if we know the pains of the people that are coming in front of us, the emotional pains, the physical pains, whatever it is that they are struggling with, we can channel all of our marketing and messaging and everything that we do towards that pain, because ultimately, the problem that our clients have is really what our product is trying to solve. It can't just be a sciencey fun thing. It has to be this science thing actually helps to solve this problem. So starting off in the FIST formula, I will throw this out there. There's some specific framings that you need to have happen to have your business be good. First and foremost, I'd like to call this new framing the 10x CEO avatar. So if you are a version of you right now that is 10x, you are making 10 times as much money as you are now. Your life is 10 times bigger, 10 times, huge. What characteristics would you bring to the table? How would you act? How would the billionaire version of you go about any of these marketing and sales processes? And the reason why I throw that out there is as we go through this system and we go through our mentorship, people go through struggles. There are challenges and hurdles that they have. They have beliefs, traits, or skills that limit them from getting to where they want to get. Therefore, if we have this billionaire mindset, it helps to say, okay, Brandon, if you were the billionaire version of you, what would you do differently than you would today? Instead of feeling stuck and nervous, how would you get past that? And that's been an excellent framing to move forward. Second, you need a profitable client avatar. And we've changed this because client avatars are great. There are tons of avatars and you can niche down to any market. But truth is, if you're rowing really hard in a boat and that boat isn't going to go very far, you need to focus on a boat, a market, an avatar client that has all the resources that you need to continue growing. Is it a growing market? Do they have the pains? Do they have the resources? And frankly, is it scalable? Because certain markets, like for example, I love using powerlifting market. The powerlifting market from a business perspective is not great. You usually have young people picking up things as heavy as they can. They will invest money to get better at it, but the sales cycle is not going to be very long. And most of those people don't continue with powerlifting for their entire life. And if they do, they won't hire someone like you in most cases. There's always an exception, but it's not a growing market. While 65-year-old people who have joint pains and arthritis and aches and problems, those people are a market that are not getting better. They are getting older and they have the resources, and that is a profitable client avatar. After that, we need to make sure your messaging is clear. You can't just be saying the features and benefits of your product. You have to talk about the meaning of your product, right? Features is what something has, the benefits is what something does, and the meaning is really the impactful emotional change on someone's life. And this is really what marketing is, right? Is making sure that the advertising and everything that you do comes down to the meaning of what happens when someone's pains are solved. And the meaning messaging is so much more powerful because it's genuine and nurturing, and you get to use real client stories consistently over and over again. After you have all that figured out, everything in the finding category is about being seen. You have to be seen consistently. And we ask all of our students every single week, how were you seen this week? Because how you are seen more often is really that incredible free advertising. And Grant Cardone talks about this omnipresence idea, and I love it because truth is you need to be the expert, the person, the first person that everyone in your town thinks of when they have a problem. And Elton John and Beyonce and Donald Trump and all these people, regardless how you think of these people, are figureheads that have an omnipresence. And when you think of them, you think of a aura of things around them. So we need that to happen for you, is when someone hears the name Brandon Green, there needs to be a whole aura, a whole orbit of things floating around you that people think about instantly when they hear your name. And in your town, it has to be, to get started and get that big money, about your product and the problems that you solve. And then truth is consistency. You have to be consistent. So let's get into the business system, and it's relatively simple. First and foremost, you need to know, one, how do you optimize your in-house lead generation? So what are you doing every single month to look at your in-house lead generation? You have clients right now that are incredible. Referrals are a great way. Everyone knows this, but what other way can we mine our current clients for resources without being too pushy and annoying? Because truth is, you can get a lot from them. Now, the challenge with in-house lead generation is if you have been doing this and making your business grow off referrals, it's a great way to have high-quality referrals. And honestly, for every 10 referrals, you should be able to convert 8 of them because they're such great leads. But the truth is, you have a finite amount of referrals. Now, that might work for you, but if you're looking to scale and grow faster or scale larger, you cannot just exist off of referrals unless you have 100% retention rate. We need to figure out how to get people in front of you consistently. So that 10 to 8 conversation to conversion ratio is great, and that's what we want. But truth is, outbound lead generation is where we're going to put in a lot more effort. And this is where, if you can be seen as an expert in front of way more people to take the cold, warm to hot leads and transition them from cold, warm to hot faster, that's where the money is. And truth is, most cases, like for myself, every 10 people I reach out to, I only get a 2% conversion, which doesn't seem like a lot, but it's actually pretty darn good. Here's the thing with outbound traffic. It is exponential. You have a limited amount of people in front of you to get high quality referral leads. The outbound lead generation is exponential. If I know I need 10 clients and I get a 10 to 2 conversion ratio, well, that means I have to talk to 100 people to get 10 clients, and that 10 clients could turn into an extra 15, 20K a year for me. The math adds up, and this is the reason why we have to do this, is you have to have inbound systems and outbound systems consistently every single month and figure out what works for you. From there, expert status. What are you doing every single day, week, or month to be positioned in your community as an expert? And there's multiple components to this. This is networking with local professionals. This is doing community events. This is speaking, educating, presenting. You need to be positioned in front of people consistently as an expert. And this helps with that omnipresence. It's extremely, extremely powerful. From there, automations. How do we make sure that everything you have, be it an email chain system, a Facebook group, a website, Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, whatever platforms and vehicles you're using, how do we make sure that even when you're not putting effort into those things, they are working for you? Many of our pillars that we try to suggest our students to build up, and including for our business, literally takes 0 effort per month, if not a couple minutes, and some of them have incredible ROIs. And if you want a free piece of advice, Google reviews are incredible. Strata Internal Performance has over 100 Google reviews, and those Google reviews alone, which I put 0 effort into, bring business every single month. So we need automations like that working for you, speaking in high regard of your business and your messaging. Finally, money later is, what are you working on today that will bring revenue in the future? There are projects you can invest time into today that will help you scale and grow, but you have to make sure you've organized it in a way that you're actually going to grow and make money from it. Perfect example, and there's a training on this in this, I started writing for an international drum magazine as an exercise. I learned videography, I learned a lot of audio stuff, I learned about writing. I actually made a little bit of money from that and got a ton of free drums, which is super cool, traveled internationally. But honestly, that was not a very profitable money later thing. It was more of a season of learning those pieces, having fun with it because I'm a drummer and I absolutely love it. Drum Mechanics, check it out on YouTube. Did pretty good there. But honestly, I stopped it because it wasn't profitable. And then that's where we shifted gears to focus on Fitness Pro Mentors, our membership service, all these different things that we put time in and pays longer dividends and bigger dividends in the future as they continue to grow. So you need to have those things, and we can talk about for you because it's very different for every single person. It could frankly even just be a skill that you harbor today to move forward. Passive marketing, frankly, is you. If you are trying to sell grandparents healthy strategies to maintain bone density, and you are in a red, stinky barbell iron gym, that passive advertising, the marketing of that gym does not line up with your messaging, and that creates conflicting messaging and can be sometimes challenging. And honestly, I lost clients from that exact same scenario. Are you in shape? You don't need to be in shape to make money, but that does potentially have an influence on the type of market you're speaking to. Do you dress clean and well, or are you wearing tank tops? Is your hair disorganized? What about the receptionist in your facility? Do they help to represent your product? Every single thing helps to create an anchoring impression of how that person interprets you and their product going forward. And when you've got this value bell curve, frankly, if you are not having everything at the top of that value curve, if anything drops below the perceived value, people will leave, and every little thing counts. So we need to make sure everything is lined up there. Beautiful. That is the finding category. As we enter into the kind of conversion system, there are some components that we focus way more on because there's already education out there on a few things. We like this idea, as you can see, there's this arrow in the middle here. We have a 3-container suggested sales process that has worked really, really well for us, and it really just takes the marketing and sales and kind of blends it together in one continuum. Once you finish marketing, be it on social media, in-person marketing, whatever it is, you need a place for people to go besides buy your thing. Because if I talk to 10 people and I sell 2, that leaves 8 people in limbo. And so we talk about creating beautiful online full brand communities that help you have full autonomy and be the educational leader in that world. So you make a connection with someone, entice them with something called a lead magnet or a value piece, depending on where you're coming from. And then once you have that value and you pull people in, we pull them into a community, which for cold leads helps them churn faster to warm and hot, which is absolutely brilliant. It helps to keep people in your world. And even today, one of my students just messaged me and he said he did a follow-up from this exact same thing and got 2 new clients in a few days just by following up and pulling people in the community and warming them up, which is fantastic. From there, that gives us the opportunity to continue that nurture relationship and then move to what I like to call the triage sales call, which is a high value sales call that ends with a this or that strategy to give the consumer, the prospect, the most autonomy in which direction they're going to go. There's no forcing whatsoever. Now, one thing that has been really, really great that I learned through the Greg Mack, and I learned through the Muscle Specialist program, and I also learned from managing a physiotherapy clinic up the street here called PhysioMax for a few years, is this idea of a sales process to a micro investment, which is an assessment, and then an education-based close. Now, we have modified how we like to talk about this a little bit, but at the end of the day, I love this because if you have a sales process, and whatever it is, if it's Sandler sales or using the Clarify process, or you watch Mario Mavrides' $100 million lethal sales, or whatever his podcast is called, you can see that there's some great ways to overcome objection and find out values and figure out how you build value to move people forward. From there, instead of selling someone on a gigantic package. I find the assessment to be an incredible way to collect more data on people and at least come up with a more solid game plan to progress and move forward. From a personal training perspective, this has been one of the most simple and game-changing things. Even learning how to use a dynamometer to collect force output from right to left to showcase if there are differences, if that lines up with the demographics values, can go a long way, which leads into this education-based close, which is very much storytelling and telling the client the story of what will happen if things don't change, and the story of exercise and how that has helped your business by helping other people and how that can help them, and setting up all the expectations going forward, which is awesome. Now, when people enter into your world, after we get past that integrate phase, the community, triage, and sales, what we do need to talk about is the final destination, which we do spend a lot of time on, because how you retain people is a gigantic part of the business system that most people don't think about. And the question I would ask you is, what is the average length of your client relationship? What is the lifetime value? Because in my opinion, if it's not over 18 months, you have to reevaluate that. And for myself, the average length of my client relationships is 3 years. And keep in mind, I've got a ton of clients that are 15 years. And so there's some that are short term, and I still don't like that, but I got a heck of a lot more that's longer. And so that means the average lifetime value of a client for me is close to $20,000. So you guys got to do your math, and we can talk more about that. How I have that is when people come in, they do sessions with me and they see me weekly, just like they do with you. Well, as we start to meet their fundamental objective, whatever that may be, we perform reassessments frequently to make sure that the data we're collecting is going the direction that we want. From the marketing perspective, I want to make sure that the original messaging they heard and we spoke about in our original conversation is being managed. So as we go through this, we know exactly where they are going. Listen, some people are going to have more money or less money. Some people are not going to have a lot of money to be routine oriented. And some people will just want to phase out and just want to use you as a consultant. And so we need to have a solid plan as far as which option we're going to sell people. Truth is, people have a low level of confidence in sales for a few different reasons, but one of the reasons is because I think people don't have high quality options to sell people on at every single level. And if you have high quality product options at every single level when people come in, you are laughing. So one-on-one sessions every single week, depending on your frequency. Moving to more expensive consulting once a month. You could have some form of membership, be it a gym membership, an online product that is exclusive to your in-person clients. There's a lot of different incredible options there. And then frankly, if people aren't doing one of those few things in your world and they haven't switched to another product, they're inactive, or they've left and they've hired somebody else. And that's where we got to get on top of this. You have to have a final destination lined up. Truth is, I will say this with all of this, you need to be focusing on product descriptions that line up with what your clients want. People are not looking for neurokinetic, mechanotherapy, whatever you call yourself. They're looking for pain-free exercise options. They're looking for exercises for weight loss. They're looking for very simple Google search things. And so we need to make sure that everything at the beginning of this lines up with that. The one little kind of tidbit that I'll throw out there, and it's been a reframing for me, any product that you try to sell with your messaging, that you have to educate the consumer about what it is in the initial marketing. Cold and warm leads, they don't even read that. You have like 1 or 2 sentences to draw people in. Hot leads will get in. They're like, oh my gosh, I've never seen something so amazing. And that's great. But if we're going to get the volume, we need to make sure our messaging lines up with cold and warm. And this is why there's not too many people reinventing the wheel when it comes to these types of products. And popular group exercise gyms are using very basic language and getting incredible volume. We need to have the simplest messaging words to showcase to our prospective clients who have the resources that can afford our stuff that we have the product for them. Don't make it complicated. It is so much more simple. And be honest, there is a heck of a lot to learn to running a business and making sure that your FIST formula is dialed in. But once you've learned it, there are pillars that are static and you can modify them as you want to. But I love the analogy of a planet, that this FIST formula is your planetary orbit system, and that one of these planets, the lead generation planet, is planet Earth. And then you got Mars and you got Pluto. That's not a planet, but it was when I was younger. In any event, they are all orbiting at one time and they are just floating there, and there are small changes on them, but you have the opportunity to visit each planet to see how things are going and judge if it's going the right direction. Immortals reference, Marvel fans. Anyway, so I'll throw this out there. The FIST formula has been a game-changing thing for me and all of our students. This is the update for 2022 that I'm really excited about to share with you. And if you have any questions about this, please let me know. Please, if you're listening to this on Apple Podcasts or Spotify, go and check out the video in the Fitness Pro Mentors Facebook group. I'll tell you that the video accompaniment absolutely helps. I'm biased. And I will say this, if you are a personal trainer who is feeling stuck and you want to get to that next level and you want to make sure you're getting consistent business to 10 to 15K months, or you are ready to become a leader in your community and hire your first personal trainer and really scale and grow your business. I'll tell you, I'm a science guy like you. I've done it. I got an incredible studio with an incredible team. Check out my business, Strata Internal Performance, and we've got tons of students for social proof that I can show you, so you don't have to believe me. If you want to see people who are going from 10 to 18 hours in 1 week, you want to see people who are going to 10 to 15K months, the first $100,000 year, going from multiple businesses, 3Xing their clients in 3 and 6 months. Honestly, we've got tons of proof, and I'd love to share it with you, not because I want to gloat, because I want you to see you can have the same results. The only person that's stopping you from getting where you want to get is you, and you can make it rain. And that's what I believe. Fitness Pro Mentors is going to help you make it rain. Anyway, that is the FIST formula. My name is Brandon. Please comment below. Make it rain if you're feeling excited. And honestly, have a wonderful day.